Hey guys, thank you for coming to watch. So I've got a small update here, just doing a little video for you guys on an overview of what's going on weather-wise across the country, and also looking at the tropics here. I know I haven't uploaded in a few days, so I apologize about that. But we are heating up again, as we do have Hurricane Nigel, which I was talking about in the last update. I was talking about how Nigel was expected to form. Well, here we have Nigel roaming around the North Atlantic, not really bothering anybody other than the fish. But we have two dangerous tropical waves that are coming off. One that's coming off Africa, one that is possibly expected to develop off the outer banks of North Carolina and just the southeast coastline in general. We call this homebrew here. So we could have a tropical system, like a tropical storm or a tropical depression, form along the east coast of the United States, and this could move into some areas that are really gonna have to be watched here, because this could definitely produce some heavy rainfall to those areas that have been just getting dumped on lately. So we could really have some major flash flooding issues with this later. But you can see that for our tropical wave marked in red right here, this has a 10% chance of developing throughout the next 48 hours. We don't expect this to develop throughout the next 48 hours, but we have a high 70% chance, at least for some gradual development throughout the next 7 days. All right, and then we have our this is our tropical wave, or I guess you could just say a bunch of rainfall that is trying to get its act together here. This is marked as a 10% chance of development throughout the next 48 hours, but 40% in the next 7 days. I expect this to continue ticking up, and I think that we're at least going to get a tropical depression out of this. So we'll really have to keep an eye on that one, all right? So we'll look at the GFS model for our open Atlantic, just seeing what trends are going on as for now. All right, so this is what was it? I forgot the name of this, but we do have our current hurricane right here. I don't know what happened, guys. I honestly just completely forgot the name, but that's all right. So, we run through the rest of the model run, just get it going here. Here's our homebrew system. We'll go over to the eastern U.S. to get a closer look at things. All right, and here it goes. All right, we're getting just 42 hours out, so this is pretty much 2 days out. We could have a full-on tropical depression. This is by middle of the night, Thursday into Friday. All right, and we get waking up on Friday, and we have likely a tropical storm. Water hands that's bearing down on North Carolina, the Outer Banks of North Carolina, and this strengthens to a 998 millibar tropical storm here, 995. So it's still getting stronger, 990. So this could be a strong tropical storm turning into the North Carolina coastline here, and it's going to be very, very big. So it's going to be impacting a lot of places here, but we see a lot of this heavy rainfall moving to North Carolina, and we get a 989 millibar tropical storm. Okay, that's probably going to be strong enough to pack winds that could have gusts that could get up to 60 miles an hour. We really don't know for sure, but we continue the model run. A lot of rainfall. Really, this storm is really going to expand, and a lot of that rainfall is reaching into southern New England, but the main section of the storm is all the way down in North Carolina, so it's very strange here. All right, and then most of that trough that was kind of associated with the storm a little bit has moved out towards where our current hurricane is located right now, but we still have most likely a tropical depression on our hands here, and this is still moving in through the Delmarva region, and then maybe we could see this start to re-strengthen, maybe impacting farther up north to southern New England. All right, so that's going to be a very interesting storm to watch, but this is our dangerous storm. All right, this is it right here. All right, this is our tropical wave that's currently coming off the coast of Africa, and we have so far a high 70% chance of tropical development throughout the next 48 hours, all right? So we watch where this thing is going, and we probably would have a strong tropical, I would say a strong, a Category 1 hurricane at this point, which would be by Tuesday of next week. All right. It's 998 millibar hurricane moving right towards Lesser Antilles, and I mean, this thing is really strengthening fast. All right, so this does, according to the latest GFS, make a landfall on the northern Lesser Antilles Islands. But just remember, don't forget about this. Let me get rid of that. So just remember this. This is really, really far out. All right, so you cannot make any final decisions on where you think the storm is going to go and how strong it's going to be when it's 168 hours out. This is still a week out from today, exactly, all right? So this is a very, very long amount of time away, so this is at least going to have some minor tweaks to it, but I expect major changes in just the general path of the storm. But latest GFS run has this going right through the Lesser Antilles, not even weakening at all. It's strengthening as it moves through the Lesser Antilles. And then we see Puerto Rico pretty much gets slammed by, the storm, all right? And then this moves into the Dominican Republic and Haiti, all right? So 3 major islands have been hit very, very hard by, or 4, I should say, have been hit very, very hard from this upcoming hurricane, according to the GFS, all right? We still don't know where exactly this is going to end up, but, this is just the latest GFS run here. So now this is moving towards Cuba, and then this does impact southern Cuba, all right? I think that this is a pretty wonky path here because usually you don't see many hurricanes move through 5 different major islands and countries here we see without really even just dying out. I guess you could say that. So either, maybe this will move through some pretty big land masses, big enough to definitely weaken the storm, but I think it's definitely possible that we could have such amazing conditions that are perfect for hurricane development and strengthening that we could have a hurricane that just plows through a lot of these islands out here near the Caribbean, all right? But then this moves through the Bahamas, all right? So the Bahamas getting hit here. I mean, this is definitely going to change. You'll see the 18Z. When the 18Z comes out, this will be totally different. But the 12Z GFS has this thing moving through the Bahamas as a 952, Category 3, Category 4 hurricane most likely. All right, this even strengthens even more. 946 millibar, Category 4 hurricane. All right, and this is really not looking good for the East Coast because the trough that's going to be picking up the storm is way out here. All right, this is going to change. The placement of this is going to change. All right, but I really don't know. You can't say anything of where the storm's going to go and how strong it's going to be until you get the first National Hurricane Center cone and forecast. All right, this thing hasn't even finished moving off the coast of Africa. We still don't even know for sure that this is going to develop. All we can say is that there is a possibility for this happening here on your screen. All right, but latest 12Z run has this looking like it's going to be another Hurricane Lee kind of scenario, and it's even worse. It's probably a Category 2, Category 3 hurricane, and it uppercuts the southern New England coastline. So it's pretty much the same track as Lee, but farther west, all right? I did not just say that this is the track that we're going to get with this system. I'm just saying that based off of what we just saw in the GFS, that's what the GFS projected track is as for now. We still, again, this is way too far out, but I'm just showing you this because it's one of many scenarios that we could have with this system, all right? And it moves through the northeast as a hurricane, and then it's pretty much done after that. So that was the latest GFS run here. So we look at now our European ensembles here. All right, we have a lot of strong tracks here, though, but it's not very concerning according to the European model. This is very interesting, all right? So we see our homebrew system. You can see it's signalized right here by a few members, maybe eight or nine of these. Most of these not taking this thing over strength that would be able to support producing 50 to 60 mile an hour winds. All right, but most of these tracks taking it up north. But the question is if it's going to go out to sea and not impact the southern New England. All right, but some of these members, you can see they still carry it on towards southern New England, like Long Island, New Jersey, all right, and Connecticut. All right, so that's something we're gonna have to watch out for. But we see here, looking at the signal for development with our next major hurricane, pretty much likely here. We do see a lot of members taking this up to strong hurricane status, but you can see there's a huge difference between the GFS and the European model for just the current projected track of it, all right? The GFS has this thing plowing straight through the Caribbean islands and then going through the Bahamas and up towards the coastline, all right? The United States coastline, okay? That's totally different from what we see here. I mean, this is pretty spread out, obviously, because it's way too far out, but we see a lot of these members that are curving out sooner. They're the stronger members here. You see 952, 948, 944, 957, 982. So a lot of these stronger members here are showing up on the European ensemble, where they go out to sea quicker. All right, but then these lingering ones that are not a lot less weaker, but they are weaker for sure, move this thing farther west. All right, that's going to put the United States at risk. It's another kind of situation that we went through, kind of like Lee. All right, so this is going to change for sure, but this could be something like what we're going to see when the storm actually develops here. So just going to be moving on now to the GFS model. This is our current GFS. I want to switch things back to the United States just because I do believe that we will have an upcoming severe weather event, all right? I know you guys have not heard severe weather in a long time because, boy, it's not been active at all for the month of August and September in terms of severe weather here. But we do have another concerning look based off the GFS and the European model here for a potential strong severe thunderstorm event. I don't want to say outbreak, but I think we will definitely see a substantial amount of severe weather here. So you can see our setup, it's pretty big here. So basically what we have is we have a rotating low pressure system right here developing across the mountainous regions of the western U.S., okay? We have some snowfall associated with this, and you may be wondering why we're seeing snowfall, just because it's getting a little cooler, and so that's why we're seeing some mountain snowfall here, all right? But you have a lot of cold air moving down from Canada here that's pushing into the system, but at the same time, you have surging warm air coming up from the Gulf, from the central U.S. into the storm, so basically what you got cold air that's pushing the storm aloft, all right? And then you've got a frontal boundary of showers and thunderstorms across this line here that you see that's bowing out. So you have the cold air thrusting into it, and then at the same time, you have warm air on the front side entering the storm, all right? That is the typical severe weather scenario, but we don't usually see that this late. We usually see that in April, March, and in early June. And so we see how this thing develops, and it does continue to develop here. And we start seeing some more thunderstorm activity developing around the center of the storm, which is now 999 millibar, system. Yeah, pretty much. But you have a lot of rainfall and thunderstorms moving down through the Dakotas and parts of southeastern Montana. All right, so this is definitely going to be a big event for you guys, I'm pretty sure, because this is only 54 hours out. This is only a day 2.5 days pretty much out from now. So, I think late Friday we could really get a pretty big system here. And we see a lot of severe thunderstorm activity still developing across the Dakotas. All right, and then here you go. Let me put this back here. But here you go. You get that line starting to form here. You see that frontal line that's bowing it, starting to bow out here. All right, that's because you have this cold air. All right, this is where your high pressure is. That's also associated with very cold air that's pushing into the backside of the storm. That's pushing the storm towards the east. And at the same time, you have warm air that's surging into the Midwest and the Ohio Valley in front of it, which is certainly going to cause an environment that can support tornadoes. All right, so that's going to be a huge thing we're going to have to talk about in later videos here. I'm very concerned about that aspect of the event. All right, but we go through this, continue going through this. This is, I think, when we're going to, let me get rid of this here. This is, I think, when we're going to have our peak day right here. All right, we're getting into Sunday. I think very early Sunday is going to be our peak moment for this event here. We have two dueling low pressure centers right here, up on the north side, up on the south side, both working together to push this storm off to the east, and that's definitely going to strengthen it, because now the cold air, you can see it's got pretty much a direct path right into the storm here, and you can see the storm line here is bowing out because of that that cold high pressure that's the air that's moving into the storm. But in front of the storm, you still have some warmer air. All right, so when warm air interacts with cold air, you get tornadoes. All right, and also when this thing is bowing out, you could have a frontal boundary that can not only support tornadoes but also very strong winds. So those could be our two those could be our two main impacts from the system. All right, and then the system's pretty much done after that. So, well, for the last part of the update, we'll just look at our current SPC outlook. Looking at day one, we already have a marginal risk placed out for this region at here. Our main, this is where our development region is for the system. Is covered in the entire region is pretty much covered in just a regular thunderstorm outlook here. But we go to day 2. All right, actually, this is day 3. Excuse me. We go to day 3. All right, this is out for Friday. All right, now we have a slight risk so far out for parts of South Dakota, going down towards Nebraska and then northern Kansas. All right, and so we don't have a huge population, but I think this is going to change, and this may get upgraded to an enhanced risk sooner than you know it. All right. We go to the day 4 outlook, and we do have a 15% risk for severe thunderstorms out here across parts of the Midwest. I think this is going to be our main day of severe weather here for Saturday into Sunday. And I think this could end up being at least an enhanced risk, potentially a moderate risk for severe weather. All right? So that's all I got for you guys. Thank you so much for coming to watch. I'll see you guys in the next update. All right? Should be... It's definitely going to be sometime this week. I'll try and get one in tomorrow. It's just my schedule's pretty tight with school and activities after school, so I'll just try and pump one out for you guys as soon as possible. So again, thank you so much for coming to watch, and I'll see you guys in the next video.